Shalom, good morning all. I'm sure during the day we'll have many more people who have registered who will join us. It's probably too early for them, but you are our participants at least are occupied audience, I guess, to some extent. Anyway, good morning ladies and gentlemen. We would like to begin, so if you have cell phones, please would appreciate it if you close them. For those of you unfamiliar with Israeli cell phone culture, it's a very vibrant one. Welcome to Haifa. We are delighted to open the second day of this international conference on the new IP order, a global trade-off. 2004, as we all know, marks the 10th anniversary of the TRIPS agreement, and we thought it's a good idea to have a conference and discuss the issues of globalization and intellectual property. And I would just like, for the benefit of those who were not with us yesterday, just to highlight and recapture some of the themes that we've discussed yesterday and we will be discussing today. We heard from our distinguished guests about how global international organizations, which are controlled mostly by industrialized countries, which in turn are mostly controlled by the industries, impose their idea of what IP is or what IP should be on developing and less developed and countries, the South as it's now called. One of our speakers, Professor Deborah Halbert, reconceptualized this clash or this debate in terms of a debate over interpretation. Who decides what TRIPS means? We also learned a lot about the interrelationship between various international bodies, namely the WTO and WIPO, and how developing and less developed countries find themselves caught in between the multilateral and the bilateral mechanisms of globalization. We also heard about the specific experience of several countries, India, some of the EU countries, and the Israeli experience. Today will be, and we also of course discussed the trademark issues, not to forget that. Today will be devoted to further our discussion of these topics and some other IP areas. Some of them have already lurked and been discussed to some extent in yesterday's discussions. More specifically, today we will discuss several highly controversial issues as we could have seen yesterday. One of the issues, the first panel, will be devoted to the issue of impediments that IP pose or impose over access, whether it's access to information or access to medicine or other cultural assets. Data exclusivity, an extremely hot topic as we could have seen yesterday. We also heard more specifically that the Israeli Ministry of Trade is just about to announce its decision to award data exclusivity in Israeli law of 5 years, subject to exceptions which they did not articulate yet. In the afternoon session, we will discuss the effect globalization has on the flow of scientific data, and we will also discuss the cultural meaning of globalization of IP, mostly discussing copyright issues. We will conclude today's discussion with a panel on the effects of globalization over the digital environment. This conference, as you know or should know by now, is a joint venture of two institutions and a lot of people. The other institution, other than the Haifa Center of Law and Technology, is the Interdisciplinary Institute in Herzliya, in which Dr. Elkin Cohen, Niva Elkin Cohen, and myself found a wonderful person to cooperate with, Dr. Asaf Yaakov, who's with us here today. This conference is sponsored by several bodies. First and foremost, not foremost, because we have others. Yesterday's event was sponsored mostly by the Reinhold Cohen Group, and this conference is in memory of the late Reinhold Cohen. Today, we are delighted to have our other sponsors with us, and this is the Caesarea Edmond de Rothschild Foundation, the Institute for Interdisciplinary Applications of Computer Science. In the last 3 or 4 years, the Haifa Center of Law and Technology has joined forces with the Caesarea Foundation, for sure, on many occasions, and we are very happy to have this one more event together with the Caesarea Foundation and its Computer Science Applications Institution. During this day, we will have some more events. We will announce the launching of the Israeli branch of the Creative Commons project. To those who are familiar with that, that will be discussed later on today. And at the closure of this day, we will award the Aladdin Prize to some of our students who wrote excellent works. It's a writing competition on law and technology issues. Well, we have two distinguished guests with us this morning. The first is Professor Aaron Kellerman, the Vice President of the Haifa University. Professor Kellerman is a geographer. However, or perhaps not however, perhaps it's natural, in his research he focuses on the geography of technologies and of social webs, if that's okay. Professor Kellerman.
Thank you, Michael. Good morning and welcome to the University of Haifa to all of you. I understand that you had a fruitful and great day yesterday in Herzliya, and I hope that your day in Haifa in general and at the University of Haifa in particular will be at least as good as yesterday, if not more than that. I think that the topic of this conference is of special meaning, especially since you mentioned the 10th anniversary of the Agreement on Trade-Related Aspects of Intellectual Property Rights, the TRIPS. I believe that one of the challenges to the field of law is dealing with a world that changes constantly. We have all been familiar with the IP protocol as being wired, and now that it all becomes increasingly wireless, may put some challenges both to the field of law and maybe to other fields as well, notably regarding intellectual property rights. So I presume that in 5 years you will meet here again with some completely different perspectives on this same issue that you deal with today. I would like to praise the good work of Drs. Niva Elkin-Koren and Dr. Michael Birnak. On behalf of the Center for Law and Technology. We pride ourselves, the University of Haifa, as specializing in the study of information and internet in various departments and faculties at the university. We have over 30 scholars dealing with the study of information and internet from various perspectives, and one of the most active people are the two organizers of this convention and their beautiful center. I would like further to thank the sponsor, Professor Martin Golombik and the Caesarea Center for sponsoring this conference as an important element in our study and advance.
Steal that property or reuse it in some fashion. Some of that is good and should be left open and available for just a scientific advancement, but others really needs to be protected, and it becomes harder and harder to protect as our technologies become more open. I guess this is the topic that you are experts in, coming from various disciplines, from the legal side, from the technology side. We here at the University of Haifa, at our institute, and mostly through the cooperation with the center run by Niva and Michael, really have raised a certain amount of moda'ut, attention, awareness of the subject on many levels. From the student body, by having student seminar courses devoted to topics along these lines, to the various conferences and workshops that we've had virtually every year, sometimes a couple times a year, including this one, and through position papers and other writings that have been written and collected by the directors of the center. So I wish you a very successful continuation of the meeting, and enjoy yourselves.
Thank you very much.